Hi, everyone, and welcome to another great car on the Car Reviews podcast with CollectorCarCanada.CA. Today we have lot 240 on CollectorCarCanada.CA. It's a 2006 Mercedes-Benz SLK AMG 55. So most of the SLKs come with a compressor engine. This one, being the AMG version in 2006, has a 5.4 liter V8 with 355 horsepower. Not shabby for this this compact little two-seater. I wanted to mention that although most SLKs come with a compressor engine, the K in SLK does not stand for compressor. It might surprise some to hear that. S and L, just like for the SL cars, is the S is for sport and the L is for light. The German words for those two, mind you. And the K is not for compressor. It's a German word, KURZ, which loosely translated is compact. So SLK 55 here today, and again, it's the AMG version. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start it up. We'll put the top down too. Of course, this is a hard top convertible, so we'll demo that for you, and then we'll get to looking at and listening to the engine and exhaust and a complete tour of the car. So again, CollectorCarCanada.CA, lot 240. It's a 2006 Mercedes-Benz SLK55 AMG. So no trouble with the start. We're getting a little beep because I'm not wearing a seat belt. But yeah, so I am going to drop the top here to display that for you. And I used to own an SL myself. I'm just refamiliarizing myself with the controls. I think I have found what I need to put the top down. So here we go. I did have the front windows already down for purposes of the video. You can hear once I hit that roof button, the rear side windows went down. And in my research of the car, I found that the top goes down in 22 seconds for this second generation SLK. It's a R171. The R170 was the first generation model, and its roof would go down in 26 seconds. So a 4-second improvement. So we got that top down. I'll move towards hand holding the camera. We'll have a listen to the engine and the exhaust and start our tour otherwise. So I'll just pop the hood here and I'll come get the camera. All right, so here's the shot sort of 3/4 from the driver's edge. I wanted to show the garage in the background. So the distance from that garage to where the car sits now is the extent of the driving we've done today. It's a slushy day here in Ancaster, so fear not, we've not had the car out driving around. So I'll move in on the engine and we'll get a close listen to the sound of the engine idling. You see the belt right in front of it on the engine cover. I'll get the microphone in there. I'll give you a look at the labels and just a general look at the engine compartment. A little bit dusty, but that's probably as much as anything related to the car having been stored for the last 3 or 4 months. I noticed a die-hard battery in place. The owner does have that connected to a trickle charger, being that it's the off season, and it started right up for us to bring it outside of the garage. I also noticed, interestingly, although the battery is only about a foot away, there is a positive terminal here, so it's a little easier access if you ever had to boost it. But shock towers, both look pretty good. I don't see any rust. I really just see a little bit of dust. And I always like looking at the hood insulation too on the other side of the hood. It looks pretty good. I don't see any tears in it at all. So there's the three-pointed star on the engine cover. So I'll leave that hood up, and we'll walk around to the rear to get a listen to the exhaust. So there's a quad exits here, two mufflers, each with dual exits. So I'd say that engine sounds pretty healthy. No problems at all with idle. You do hear a bit of a whine, and one thing I did not mention is that this car has been inspected. You can review the inspector's report right on the detailed listing for lot 240. He did note the whine you're hearing from the power steering, so please do have a look at the inspection report for further detail about that. We have built an allowance for the repair into the reserve price for this car. So I don't think we need the engine running anymore. I'm going to cut it, and we can continue with the exterior tour of the car. One last look at that engine compartment, and I'll move forward to close the hood. So, as I mentioned, this car is the AMG version, the SLK55 AMG version of the car. So, a few items that are a little different. I think I talked about the displacement already. A 5.4 liter V8 engine. Good for 355 horsepower. One of the car magazines uh, clocked this car to 0 to 60 a little faster than Mercedes' own uh, advertised time. I believe it was Road and Track that managed to do 0 to 62 miles an hour, so 100 kilometers an hour in 4.2 seconds. Quite a feat, actually, and quarter mile in 12.7 seconds. It does have a 7-speed automatic transmission with the, the AMG speed shift. The shifter itself can be moved side to side to upshift and downshift. And uh, being the AMG version, there are several actually upgrades from the base SLKs in 2006. I can go into them a little bit generally here, but do take a look at our detailed listing for lot 240 for more detail. So there's increased brake capacity. There's an additional engine oil cooler. The suspension is lowered and stiffened a bit. So there's springs, shocks, and sway bars in terms of the stiffening. The wheels, you'll see they got the AMG engraving there. So they're specific to the AMG, and they're 18 inches in diameter. I'll get into the tire sizes as we get closer. And you can see the AMG body kit, certainly the front bumper cover and fascia, a little more dressed up than your typical SLK. A little bit of a skirt setup on the side. And from here we can see the rear spoiler, which we'll get a little closer to in a minute. The fog lights are chrome accented. The leather is a Napa leather, so that's a bit of an upgrade from the base model. Quad exhaust I showed you, and the tail lights are all smoked, including the third brake light or center high mount stop light. So, getting a little closer into our walk around, I'll zoom right in on the wheels to start with. So there's a set of Falcon tires on the car here. As I say, an AMG 18-inch rim. And the tire size, I'm just going to read it right off the tire. So up front, we've got a 225/40 ZR18, and it's a Y rating. So that's the highest rating, of course, for speed rating. So a Falcon Zenith FR510. And I do see a date code right here, 2021 for that tire. So this vent work on the hood, also a nice touch on the SLK. SLKs, uh, previous SLs that have that kind of a look here on the fender, but not on the SLK, interestingly. I'll also point out that the owner has intentions of doing this before the car goes, but I won't guarantee that it'll happen. You can see that the headlight on the driver's side is a little cloudier. Usually not too bad of a job, just with some compound and a rotary tool, power tool, and then just polishing off the compound. I'll also mention that this cover for the tow hook is missing. I did already check the trunk to find that the tow hook is in the trunk with the spare tire. So yeah, the black paint retains a pretty great shine. There are a couple of imperfections beyond that missing tow hook cover. I notice a little mark here. I'm going to put it with my tuning, and you can kind of see a little depression there in the finish. The mirrors, lots going on in these mirrors, including the indicator lights. And when I say lots going on, all I'm talking about is they're powered and heated as well, of course, as you'd expect from a Mercedes-Benz car of this era. Fixed antenna and the original head unit with command GPS system is in place. So moving down to the rear tire here, so it's another Falcon Azenis FK510, and the rear side on this car, we've got 245, 35 ZR18, and there's that Y rating as well. As I scan around, I see the date code on this tire. It's 2019. Although I have a feeling these tires, being that the front and rears match, they probably would have been installed at the same time. But I'm not warranting that. That's just my instinct talking. You might have also mentioned when the top went down, this windscreen is in place. It's a little dusty from some nice open air motoring last summer, I suppose. Easily cleaned. And then I already did mention the rear spoiler. There's a good look at it. Gives the car just a little more aggressive a look than the base SLK. And then the clearer lens there is smoked, specific to the AMGs, like I was mentioning as well. Quad exits for the exhaust, and that as well, that center brake light or center high mount stop light is also smoked. There's a good look at the rear of the car. I'll zoom in on the wheel here. So we've got another Falcon Azenis FK510, 245, 35, 18 here on the rear with the Y rating. And I see this one has a 2020 date code. So being that those three date codes, they're certainly close in date, but they're not identical. I have a feeling they probably all went on at the same time. Fuel door, push in to let it release. It's a little dusty in there, but clean in terms of corrosion. I don't see any trouble there. And I see a couple of really light scratches here, just four of the fuel door, and I'm just showing them to you with my tuning, just to give you a sense of perspective. There's a good look at that skirt here on the passenger side. Moving forward to the front tire, and it's another Falcon 225 40 ZR18 with the Y rating, and I see a 2021 date code for this, so the 31st week of 2021. And here's a look at the side of that fascia I was talking about. Again, it's a little more aggressive a look for the AMG version of the car. So I'll do another walk around of the car just to give you a good look at it. Headlight washer here, tucked away, out of the way right now, but the car is still optioned. Black paint on I'll call it ivory interior. On the detailed listing, we'll get the proper Mercedes-Benz color name for that interior. Even that That rear diffuser, I'll call it, looks a little sportier than I think you'd find on the base SLKs. But a car that presents quite well. You're never sure when you come to see these cars when they've been stored how clean or dirty they might be, but it would appear that this owner is pretty fastidious about keeping the car nice and clean while it's stored in the garage. It's right behind us here. So moving to the interior, I'm not going to climb right in between the fact that this car is quite compact and I've tracked a bit of slush around with my shoes. I want to keep it clean, but I'll show this to you. Now the inspector was, I would say, kind of needlessly hard on us with a couple of items here. One is the floor mat. So this floor mat's not included with the car. I just popped it in so that when I sat in it and started it, it would keep the carpet down below clean. But this car has since been vacuumed out since the inspector was here. The inspector actually he noted that the carpets needed cleaning, which I suppose I'll agree with, but I don't think it's any reason not to buy the car. And he noted the door cards maybe needed a bit of a cleaning. So I guess I won't disagree with him, but I don't think it's too serious. AMG for the in the door sill here, and you can see we've got the VIN here, tire information, and a final coat badge that was just a protective coating when the car was last sold, and another Mercedes sticker that for when the inspection was done, final inspection. So I'll climb in without bringing my feet in, and maybe I'll turn the key to the on position to see everything light up. We've got a speedometer that goes to 320 kilometers an hour, but Canadian market car. You can see the odometer or the kilometers, or sorry, the speedometer in kilometers per hour. And I'm also going to note the mileage there at just under 168,000 kilometers, and the tachometer 7,000 max with a 6,500 red line. And in the center, I'm not going to turn it on. I don't want to violate any YouTube codes. They don't like it when you play someone else's music. But the audio system includes the Command Mercedes-Benz GPS system. I will note that there's a little bit of marking and scratching up here above where the CD input would be. But otherwise pretty clean. And then here we have the shifter with a power mirror control, as well as the rightward rotary button is to operate the top. Of course, the car is equipped with climate control, including air conditioning. And the buttons on the steering wheel, they're marked a little bit, but nothing you wouldn't expect from a 2006 model with this kind of mileage. Couple of things I left out for display's sake. This isn't where they normally lie, but the original first aid kit that came with the car comes with the car, and same with the original documentation, including owner's manual in the original Mercedes-Benz attaché. I also note the upgraded audio. We can see the Harman Kardon speaker in the door. I notice a matching one on the other side. But and then the storage cubby here in the center console, as well as some storage up here in the center, and then a glove box too. I'll go over to the other side, open the door when you take a look over there too. I haven't looked in the glove box, so I trust there aren't any personal items in there. Oh, and there's a CD changer in that glove box as well. I suppose with the CD changer, it's great that the center storage exists as well. And here's a little storage net being made use of to keep those little items in place when driving around. Another look at the Harman Kardon branding on the speaker here. So, and then another sticker for that final coat product. I'll also give you a quick look at the trunk. It's pretty clean as well. Well, of course, right now the roof is stowed in there, different from when I was in it before with the top up, but nice and clean, and there is a space saver tire in there for a change in a pinch, and there's the tow hook as well. And I can see a spare tire change fit through the holes of the rim as well. So, one more walk around, and we'll move to some closing thoughts. So again, this is lot 240 on CollectorCarCanada.CA. It's a 2006 Mercedes-Benz SLK55 AMG, black on an ivory leather interior. So there's a good look at our 2006 Mercedes-Benz SLK55 AMG. Again, it's lot 240 on CollectorCarCanada.CA. Comes with a 5.4 liter engine producing 355 horsepower. The torque number is slightly higher than that in pound-feet. Check our detailed listing for 240 to get that precise number. And again, this one is inspected, so please do have a look at the inspector's report on the detailed listing. I think what I'll do is I'll close with putting the top back up for you. You've already seen the top going down, so I want to demonstrate it going back up. So I'll climb in and start it up. I think I'll tap off the slush off my shoes first. But yeah, I'll start the car back up. And now what I'll do is I'll crank that top back up to display it for you. Again, just under 168,000 kilometers on this 2006 Mercedes-Benz SLK55 AMG. And here comes that roof out from inside the storage of the trunk. And the windows go up as well. So I think that'll about do it. Thank you for watching, and on to the next car.